Cause that whooper is a bitch.
Are we on now? Yeah, we on.
Just saw your arm. Just saw.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
What up, though?
Hey, what up, though? This is the Misunderstood Podcast with your boy Brian Jeffrey, and I am back again with episode 5 of the podcast. That's right, 5. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco.
Yes, you did that right.
Anyway, I'm here, and I'm here with two of my loveliest of love. Actually, I got 4 of them in here.
Oh.
But 2 of them are behind the camera. You might hear some influence from behind. You got Dominic over here. You can't see him, but he over in the corner looking crazy. You got Jess. She can peek her head in front of the camera if she wants to. You gonna peek your head in? That was her hand. Of course, you know my lovely co-host Gina G. Over there, your girl Regina G. It's this blue. Here we go. So we got Regina G over there,
on the floor.
and it's live, so anything can happen today. And then of course, we have the lovely, the outspoken, the talented, both vocally, mentally, oral-wise, finger-wise. And I mean finger.
What? Wow. Wow.
In a
craftsmanship.
You can do anything with her hands. I mean, come on. Okay, all right, we're gonna go back.
And then this introduction.
So I'm gonna give you to the one that's hailing from the Motor City of Detroit, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah.
What up, though?
But Detroit's own Crystal Janet.
Wow. The full government, huh?
Listen, also known as anything, also as the resident Effie White. If you've seen her,
Oh dear God.
She is Effie White. Okay, heard her sing Effie White in Dreamgirls. You would want to hear her.
I love you.
And then right now she's in Frozen at Omni Theater with Jess.
Yeah.
With the one and only Jessica Bennett, who also
That's my team,
is
y'all.
Jessica Bennett is one of the first Black professional Roxys that there was in Chicago.
Yeah, and the first all Black production of Chicago was art-centric.
Which is founded by Kevin McAllister, Cedric D. Lyles, and a host of other people. So we have a shout out to Art Center, who has paved the way for a lot of Black people, not just in the D&D.
Absolutely.
For a whole lot of people
on the Broadway as well.
Right there, right there. And
there are at least 4 people now. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So, and me. But so today's topic, as you know, we're doing the trauma series, and we're on the 3rd part of the trauma series. And that is the trauma series that we all been waiting for. And it's the one that most of us Black people are common with. And it's called trauma bonding. We all know what trauma bonding is. It's bonding over trauma. I mean, let's put it in the simplest form. What do you need? Crystal wants something. As you know, we always start to show off with a first show, like the top of the show, toast. Right?
Because we can't.
So we want to do that. We're going to pour it up. As you think, she got her makers. I got Woodford.
I got Wolf.
G got Woodford. Woodford. What you got?
He ain't got nothing in that corner.
No, he got Woodford.
He looked slumped in that corner.
He'll come on camera at one point. I'll make him come.
Watch it all fall out. Pull it up.
That was crazy, though.
Sorry. What we toasted to?
Oh, I need a rock or two.
That was nuts. So let's give a toast to
The rock boys in the building.
because of trauma, healing out loud, and unity. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, clank. So, where we talked about the last couple episodes, we talked about mom and daddy issues. We also talked about trauma in general. And we're specifically talking about trauma bonding. And you know what I mean, Black people. Now, the people from the Mountain of Caucasus, you understand this too, because y'all have your own trauma. But we won't go there tonight.
The Mountain of Caucasus.
But Black people, hello, I love them, but listen. But Black people, you know the automatic trauma bonding that we do when we walk into a space. I don't care if we don't know the Black person or not. If we see them, we bond. There is something that we've experienced in that space or some other space that is similar. And the first question I have is, what is the one thing that when you walk into a new space and you see a Black person, what is the one thing that bonds you? That, like, what is that one thing that's trauma that you know what I mean?
So,
like, what is that?
So all right, I know what you mean. So for me, I'm gonna answer the question and like set you up, Crystal. I got it. So for me, it's ass whooping, y'all.
Oh,
It's ass whooping so bad.
really?
Because I think that every Black person, because we all got whoopings, right?
Yeah.
So I always think that every Black person got the same type of whoopings that I got, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I see a Black person in white spaces with me, I be like, hey, how you doing? Yo, your mother used to beat your ass? All right, I was a street like kid. Right, no. And so I hit niggas with I was a street like kid. So like I would always make it in the house late. Cause like, bitch, I was busy. I've always been important. I'm busy, right?
Mm.
But then that's when I realized that, oh no, I came from a different type of Black people.
Mhm.
That's where my like disconnect comes in. Cause it wasn't just like a belt, right? It wasn't just like my hands. It wasn't just like, what was you doing? Like I beat with a curtain rod once.
Yo,
like I still got the scar from it.
The
Like,
crazy part is,
and when I tell my whooping stories, and I'm like, all my Black friends be like, "Girl, are you okay?
but
Do you need a hug?
no,
you-
go ahead.
What do you want us to do?" Because my grandmother would have never. And then that's when I realized that I didn't have a community. I didn't have this. I didn't have that. And those are the things that led to the trauma that I experienced. So it's like, yeah, I be coming in the door like, girl, we got our ass whooped. And I learned real quick that like, no, nobody was getting beat like I was. It's not quite the same. Yeah, no, that's legit.
For me, because like I lived early part of my life, I lived with my mother, yes, and she would beat our asses, rightfully so, because we were bad as, you know, we were bad as fuck. And not so much me because I followed behind my brother and sister. They kind of bullied me into it. But like when I moved with my dad, beatings, that they didn't really exist. For me, the bonding over Blackness is just looking at the fuck shit white people do, right, and going and giving that universal nigga. Do you see this shit? And so that's where I find, but more so specifically with Black Americans or and people that were raised in Black American culture, because you can get other Black cultures and there'll be a bond there, but it's not the same as Black American culture. And like I have friends that are non-Black American. I go, yeah, because this, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I go, yeah, you weren't born here. Okay. And so
it sucks. Like it's like
it sucks. It's just different. It's just different. And we've been told for so long that we don't have a culture and we don't have this, that when people don't relate to it, we're like, what's wrong with you? In my best Baltimore accent.
Like, for me, I feel like my bonding, it's weird. Like I have so many, and you probably can relate to it. It's weird because there's the I'm not that dark complex. And because that's the first thing I know when I walk in. When I walk into especially an audition space or a show space, literally, it'd be the Black people, it'd be the people my complexion lighter over here. The ones darker than my over here. And it's the most weirdest thing. And then you have the ones in the middle.
I'm always the one in the middle.
Yeah, so I know.
I am the one in the middle. Be like, and bring all like, hey.
And that's why, and that's the thing. And I want to be that thing. I'm always in the middle, like, what is the problem? But you don't realize, and this, I guess, is kind of playing devil's advocate, but at the same time, it's like we don't realize how.
We gotta play the devil's advocate.
Well, we're not playing devil's advocate. It's true. Why do we separate ourselves so much. Like there's the colorism that is innately implanted in black people.
So first of all, colorism is only one-sided. I do not experience colorism, and I hate when light-skinned people say, "Oh, that's colorist."
Right.
No,
No.
bitch, you do not.
You don't
Light-skinned people.
experience colorism.
As the high yellow light-skinned person, in my proximity to whiteness, no matter how much I hate it, I do not experience colorism.
Exactly.
Love you, babe. I do not experience colorism. So there is a safety. If there's a safety, because light-skinned people ain't got no morals. I can't stand light-skinned people. They get on my nerves. They don't have no morals. And so oftentimes they project this obnoxiousness and where I don't want to be around them. And I'm like, ooh, I hate you light-skinned motherfuckers. And it's just safer to be in spaces where people that look like you and act like you. And I'm sorry.
To support that. Wait.
Wait, bitch, wait. What? This weekend when I found out that I was not light skinned.
Who told you that? Because you're the dark. Let me tell you something.
Someone told me that I was the paper bag, and I was like, no, I thought I was at least 1 degree lighter than a paper bag.
You lighter than
like, no, sis.
No, you're lighter.
You're lighter than the paper bag, but
I'm the paper bag.
You're the paper bag.
The paper bag.
But anyway, so my existential crisis.
Like we're paper bag. Me
So-
and him.
So my
No, baby, you're the
existential
paper
Paper bag than him.
like,
my
I'm darker than the paper bag.
this week has been about qualifying my blackness to the contrary of what you're saying,
But-
right?
so I hate the whole qualifier because I had this battle within myself that I was never black enough. Even though I have 2 monoracial black parents, just one's just high yellow, and he came out just high yellow, even though
Your dad.
my dad's high yellow.
My dad was the paler of the 2.
Yeah, and shut up, bastard.
WEB over there.
But ew. But having to deal with not feeling black enough, and not because anybody may. Of course, I got teased for being light skinned. I mean, come on, teasing is a part of being Black American. It's
Right.
it's
you up real quick. I'm gonna listen to you.
But like,
that same
and so like being on the end of like, you're white, this and fuck you. That's why I would, and that's when I would fight. But just understanding that dynamic, that like there's a safeness, there is, and it's still dangerous as fuck being light skinned, but there's a safety and there's a cushion that I have being light skinned. So I understand when darker people don't want to be bothered, because I know the trauma that comes alongside of that.
So
do I like it? No. And then when people get to know me, they be like, "Oh, we thought you don't act like most light skinned people." No, because I hate light skinned people.
All right, so I feel that. So my mother is dark skinned, and she is the first person who ever called me a white girl. And I was like, what? And I was like under 10 when she first did this shit of my first cognitive memory. And it was literally, she was just calling me a white girl because outside of the fact that I was lighter than her, and the only light-skinned person in my family, because my 2 brothers are dark-skinned as well, she also didn't like the fact that I was like, from my perception, thinking. I don't have the words from her, right? But for me, I was just thinking about what she said in front of me, right? And I was like, this just don't make sense when you like logically think about it. And I shared that with her, and I got inundated with a lot. So like my confronting my race, like I've been very big and a big proponent of being like, no, yo, Black people need to be invited in all rooms that I found myself in, that I knew I was invited in because I was a light-skinned, thus acceptable Black person, right? I recognized that when I walked through the door.
Yeah.
But I always would tell these white people who invited me in, oh, I'm taking this home. Home means to the Black niggas that I go to. But for me, it was always, then I would go home and be rejected because it's like, oh, they only gave this to you because you're a little white girl, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
I had that double-edged sword. So this week, when like all of my Black friends are like, "Nah, yo, you the paper bag," I'm like, "Minute, like the paper bag, in the middle."
So for me, because my siblings we all are the lightest of lights, to the not the darkest, but like dark brown skin. Like we kind of run the gambit between, and my parents split when I was like 5. And so it, as toxic and dysfunctional as my family and the things that happened was at times, I was very fortunate that I had my parents were very, your blackness is great, you're this. And like and talking to my dad, we laugh about it all the time because my dad had issues. One of his biggest pet peeves now is don't call him yellow. Don't We just had this conversation the other day when I was driving to the theater. Don't call him yellow, don't call him red bone, anything. Because that's the first thing he'll fight about. And so because of that, he always instilled in me what it was to be Black. And so he sent me on this militant journey. Like I was like 9 reading Marcus Garvey and, the autobiography of Malcolm X, and was just like, proving to myself that I was Black enough. And then I think once I got to Morgan and I saw Blackness from every aspect of life, and that there's no, Blackness is not a monolith, and there's no one type of Blackness that's better than the other, I realized that, oh shit, I am Black. I don't have to prove anything, because it was more so proving it to myself. But I grew up in Michigan, which by far, in my opinion, is the most racist state in the union outside of Detroit, Grand Rapids, and Benton Harbor. If you know, the Midwest.
Yep, I'm about to say, I can give
there are more sundown towns in the Midwest than there are in the South. But I would have white people run up to me in the summer. I'm darker than you because I couldn't tan until 2002. And I was like, and I would sit in the sun for hours and be like,
well, I keep saying the sun changed, but that's the whole thing.
But now I can go in the sun now and get dark, and I'd be so excited. Now I look like a sugar cookie and I hate it. It's depressing.
Well, here's my thing. Oh, that is so sweet. I gotta send that to them.
What?
Somebody's using my photography stuff.
Oh.
But nonetheless,
I'm sorry about corn.
So how do because we touched on this. When did we me and G touched on this the first part of the drama series? When we talk about the existing in Black spaces, like especially in theater. Existing in white spaces, especially in theater as a Black person. And it ties into this trauma bonding part because like we walk in, and it's a shame that we have to walk in to a space and automatically like, where's one of us? Like, where are we? Because we don't feel safe otherwise. And it's the truth. We don't feel safe. And then you got to remember, and I call this overseer mentality. What I mean is the Black people that are willing to go against, to go for. So I call that overseer mentality. Like, and somebody who I'm thinking about, that's overseer mentality.
All right. So before Crystal answers, can I jump in real quick? Because this is where I differ while y'all are giving each other that look. Just gonna keep saying that for me
Wouldn't call it overseer.
What you call it?
We're being rude.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You talking? Oh
no, because listen,
we have a friend moment.
Gloss over the fact that y'all was talking about something familiar. I was just going to keep pushing.
No, that's the thing.
I wouldn't call it an overseer mentality. Yes, there were Black overseers, but overseers were more so poor white folk that were told that they were better than Black folk because they weren't.
So, Crystal, let me jump in right quick with that, because for my experience, all of my understanding of white spaces, and we talked about this last time, has come from Black people. That's why I have been very adamant about being like, nah, nigga, I'm supposed to be
right.
Well, Black as shit.
Well,
I'm glad that you got. We didn't get that.
We understand
because a lot of my policing in white spaces has come from Black people who are like, you can't be that loud, and I'm like, the CEO ain't say nothing. Right. Like, matter of fact, that nigga came in and dapped me up because I showed him what the fuck a dap was, because I authentically came in this room. So that's where proving my Blackness has come in, because I have never been enough for anybody, right? Like
Mhm.
I haven't been poised enough to fully make it to the spaces that I deserve in white spaces, right? Because although I'm working hard for it, I ain't got the business acumen that they want me to have because I just don't give a fuck, right? But then on the black side, it's like, oh, you act too white to be invited to the dinner where we talking about these white people. And I'm like, y'all talk about them in their faces. Like, y'all should invite me because I'm fighting for y'all, but y'all don't see that. And so that's been my fight about my.
You must be hanging around educated, uppity Negroes.
Oh. And that's what bothers me because
I don't like them. As an educated Negro, and I have to check myself.
Educated Negro, I love education.
No, yeah, no,
it's
definitely.
Beautiful.
My second most hated group of people outside of light skinned people because they ain't got no morals. Are educated black, educated black folks that don't
different
that don't see the beauty in what blackness is. And like, here's the thing. White people don't like us. They don't like us educated. They don't like us dumb. They don't like us sober. They don't like us high. They don't like us. And there's nothing. Why?
Because this is where the flavor is, and they ain't got it. Like literally, white people don't fuck with us because, again, they still humans like us, right? They still a head, a heart, 2 arms, 2 legs, but they ain't got that motherfucking spice, nigga. They literally had to come and steal a whole fucking race of people, steal a whole fucking continent from people in order to get spice. That's why they don't fuck with us, and we inherently just have it. Like people, and it's not on no superficial level, right? Because again, y'all met me, are coming through the door of the West Baltimore girl that I am. I just like to be smart, my nigga. So again, I am occupying the uncomfortable social location of being an educated Negro. In my mind, a light-skinned Negro, right? In my mind, a traumatized Negro, right? A European ass Negro, because I bust down how I'm from the 13 colonies earlier tonight, right? All of these things at the same time, and nobody accept me, and I still have the audacity to just be. That's too much for a black woman. That's too much.
And I don't claim my European side.
Oh, about my time, money, and safety. Fuck that.
Well,
but if we keep it a stack,
we taught them. So
when we keep it a stack, the richest man ever was Mansa Musa, and But again, that the predominance of white supremacy and the patriarchy makes us think that we don't have that we don't do things, that we don't advocate for our communities, that we don't have these riches and these powerful things. It's just that the riches don't lie in what the European standard of life is. And unfortunately, because they were so brutal in their dominance, not necessarily that they were more dominated, they were just more brutal, but they operate from a sense of lacking in community. There is no community. Europe, like I think it was Scandinavia or something. They're talking about where if your friend's over, they will go and eat dinner while you're sitting in the living room. And that doesn't happen in other communities. Now, we've been more Americanized because we've been here for generations. But that sense of community, that sense of building, that's where the riches lie. Yes, monetarily, we of course want to build those things, but the beauty is in the community, and white supremacy and the patriarchy does everything to destroy it. So when I hear black people say stuff, we don't advocate, we don't do enough stuff for this, and then I think about the movement. I think about Tulsa, Oklahoma. I think about Rosewood. I think about every time we have upward mobility that they destroy something else. Like this prime example, this community here rebuilding without gentrification, rebuilding, and then all of a sudden now they're adding in the train tracks to add more pollution in this very neighborhood, pushing the people out. Right after COVID, or right before COVID, I was sitting in the pizza shop that's across from Hollis Market, and there were these developers. I don't even know the name of it. I was just there. Developers, they're talking about buying up all the property, pushing all like the people out, black, white, it didn't matter. And just it's because Europe did not have for so long. They went through the dark ages. They went up, and it's just a lack, and it's everything is individualistic. When you get to other cultures, it's about community and about building.
Well, you have to think about it this way to support everything you just said. Because let me tell you, okay?
I would keep going.
Because she said everything, but it supports what you said because if you think about it, let's take where the most of the revolutionary stuff. Well, I would phrase that word. Racist stuff happened. Was when Britain, like England, right? Their whole culture is stolen. Like
they own their chicken tikka marsala is like their national dish, and it's like
this ain't chores, bro.
Not beans on toast.
You don't got that where you are.
Like
tea. Let's take tea. Y'all took that from the 80s. Let's just be for
like
real.
I mean everything, and I just
it's amazing.
I wish that when they went to China and that before the gunpowder, like the Chinese had like eradicated them with all of the gunpowder that they had instead of sharing the knowledge. It's
I guess that's where I be chiming back in, right? Because that's where I chime in back in politically, right? Because I'm like, yo, there are sections in your house, right? The way that I boil it down is there are sections in your house, and Black people need to stop letting niggas in our kitchen, right? Because we be cooking shit up that everybody cannot handle how we cook it up. They can't handle how we get here. Like, nigga, we eat chitlins. That's a delicacy in the Black community. A lot of us have given up.
I mean, have you smelled them? Yes, like, I don't like. It makes a whole neighborhood stink.
Let's talk about chitlins.
I claim that European side. No, it is. It is.
Don't fuck with it. You fuck with the care that it takes to prepare.
Oh, absolutely. I watched my brother and grandmother make them, and I was like, not eating that, but yeah.
Everybody's stomach coming in the kitchen to see grandmama putting down with it.
I watched my brother's granny make. Oh, I miss granny.
And so that's why I intersect when it comes into race and politics. I am a firm believer of we gotta let everybody into our Black ass kitchen. Right. You feel me? Like, we can't. Some of the conversations that we as Black people are capable of having, we need to stop inviting whiteness into that conversation, because we need to have some real shitty ass conversations about what needs to happen.
I saw you just said something to remind me of this quote that I saw. I would say a few weeks ago, and it said that white people are the only people that can try to make a whole nation try to believe that they came and stole people from their land to build up from somebody else's stolen land. I was like, and when they said it, I said, dang, they did take us to steal somebody else's land to build up on some stolen land. Like,
but
they're trying to make us believe
the ridiculousness of it, the ridiculousness of it all. Because what I always say to people is, if you fully believe the slave story, to your point, it's these motherfuckers who ain't have shit convinced my ass from my land of riches and royals to go over here to this red nigga's land and be like, excuse me,
wait,
fuck out of here.
Can we not call them red though? Because that's kind of racist.
Okay, I apologize. I'm keeping it in the Black, they white. So
no. How we just call them indigenous folk, or the First Nation folk. Yeah.
Racist.
Yeah.
I'm intelligent enough to know that I should be saying indigenous.
Yeah.
To make you have space.
My great grandmother was Native American.
Mine too. Mine as well. However, again, this is what I'm saying about wield our power, right?
Right.
I'm taking nothing off of you saying what you said. I call me Black all day long.
Yeah.
Knowing I'm not Black, knowing that I am brown, we had no problem with that. I call pink people who, if we look at the color of them pink, I call them white, we had no problem. But the minute that I called indigenous people red, we wanted to make sure that I checked my racism. But I let me finish. I still check myself in that moment and being like, oh, I understand this language, and being like, so I should see them as indigenous to create space for you. That's what I'm saying about Black people having those uncomfortable conversations. because we are more intelligent than we give ourselves to exist in different spaces. Because as a partial red person, I don't find, because when we talk about color, I'm not black or white. They not white or black or yellow or any of those things. So I get it. Let's give credence, but then we should call African American people indigenous as well, right? Because we was here too, and a lot.
But we're not a. But we hold a unique space because we are not indigenous to this land, and that there are some African Americans, and I choose to be called black. Like there are people that don't want, like I choose to be called black. People, the indigenous folk do not. Most of them, and I follow a lot of indigenous creators. They take offense to that because that was used as a way to denigrate them and disregard who they are as humans. And so,
no, they don't want to be called red.
They don't want to be called red. They do like to be called indigenous. Like, and just the same with the Asian folks and calling them yellow. Like it is offensive to them, and I'm always and it's offensive, and I'm always going to respect that. Black people, we chose to call, like, we decided that as a collective that black was okay. But black and African American, and not being called colored and Negro. So that's where my
understanding is coming from. Again, understanding my of being called black, I don't see it the same as offensive, but I respect and can make space, and I'm intelligent enough. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm intelligent enough to know, oh, hey, my bad. Let's move forward though in the conversation, because I recognize what you're saying. I can change my language. And again, colors don't impact me because I made a choice, right? Yes. But if it impacts you, then I can use.
But it doesn't. It doesn't impact me.
Use the proper terms so we can have the proper conversation. And that's what I mean about Black people having those kitchen conversations, right? Because it gets thick in there, right? It gets tricky in there. A lot of people can't do what me and you just did, right? Black women are being like, it's a small nuance. Let's go ahead and clear that nuance up, and then move forward to make sure we're respecting each other.
Of course.
That's why I'm saying Black people need to have more of that.
I think that we do have that. I think that the pervasiveness of what was created with Black Americans specifically is that we weren't allowed to have any culture whatsoever. So we have created those spaces. And of course, there's going to be pushback and knocking of all of those things. But the white supremacy specifically makes it very difficult for us to have those safe spaces, because every time we have them, they bomb those safe spaces. They do all of these things. They flood those safe spaces with drugs and everything. For me, controversial take, the worst thing that happened to the Black community was integration. Before integration, we had that community and everything, but every time we get something to where we build that community, they do something else.
So here's where I dissect, right? Because the trauma that I experienced as a Black woman, I still would have experienced even if we didn't have integration. That's what I'm.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying, so for my intersect of like trauma, for what our topic is, for my intersect of like race and trauma and like social location and being a Black woman and all of the things that we just like touched on, my biggest ills come from people who look like me, not white people. I exist even as like Black and loud, and I exist safer in white spaces how I am versus in Black spaces.
And my experience is completely different than that. Yeah.
And I researched.
So I want to bring it to this stuff that I want to. How do y'all feel about it? How do y'all?
No.
Oh no, y'all listen.
Yeah, no. Because that's why I was like, I ever got to like
but y'all
have this heady conversation with. So
but y'all
thank you. That's why I wanted to
y'all two to me have the same like energy towards the topic. Because like you know what I mean? I was like, wow, it's like the same energy, and it's like, I mean, there's certain differences, but like in a sense, I was like, oh, this will be amazing.
And that's why for me, I want to create the space for women like me and you to
have the
come and have the same conversation. Right. Even at the end of the day, I want people to walk away and be like, damn, you know what? monolithic.
Yeah.
Sometimes even us in our blackness, as we're doing the fight and doing the work, we sometimes get caught up in the monolithicness of the life that we have, right?
And it's
not thought went over your eyes when I was like, yeah, that's not my experience.
Yeah.
It was like, well, wait a minute, that's not my experience. But we've been vibing all night. Like we've been chills, we've been cool. But when we then start to pull back of what hurts us as individuals, then we start to see where we differ. Right? And so the question that I want to answer as a Black woman is, although we had different pain points, what's the commonality in that so we can move on? Because my thing is we both have the same thing of wanting to champion Black communities and how do we move forward and make sure that we are sound and safe. Now I need to take it from I'm tired of Black people telling me I'm not white enough or I'm not Black enough. I'm tired of white people telling me that I'm not. So like that's so, and you're saying the same thing just from different.
Just for me, I have two friends that I love dearly who grew up with white people. Their experience it has been white, and I take my hat off to Black people that have had to live and exist in white spaces, because when I lived with my mother, lived in Lansing, it was much more diverse. And by diverse, I mean it was white, then Black, and then Hispanic. There was no like mingling when I was growing up. But moving to Detroit, everything was Black. Everything was Black. My experience, most of my teachers were Black, and the white teachers that I did have were in community with Black people. It wasn't like I'm coming into Black spaces and teaching. No, they lived in the neighborhoods. They were like friends. So it was all I knew growing up was Blackness. And my family is, again, we had some interesting things as a family, but I was fortunate that love was the anchor and the key in my house. So even though we were all different, I'm the fucking weirdo in my family, but never made to feel that way. They didn't get me, and I could be like, they were like, okay, whatever. But I was surrounded by Blackness, and then going to Morgan, seeing all of the Blackness. So all I knew growing up was Blackness, the different kinds of Blackness. And then I was a history nerd. Me and my dad, that's how we bonded, with like Blackness. And so when I moved into theater, it was a different world for me, because I'm like, what the fuck? How do y'all deal with like I wanted to do nigga shit with my nigga friends because these white people are like exhausting. But I have friends who grew up and didn't really have, of course they would visit their families, but their experiences were white and it was hard for them. And I tip my hat off. I say all of that. We were did a show at Toby's, and this one particular friend, he from Richmond, grew up in white neighborhoods, but would hang out with his cousins in Richmond. We're there, and so white girl worked in the box office. She was singing all the rap songs. He didn't know it, so she was like, "I'm Blacker than you," and I was like, "Oh shit!" And he didn't say anything, so I was like, "All right, not your fight, not your fight. Shut the fuck up." So something happens, and some rock song comes on, and he's singing. Bitch. And so I was like, that's a grown ass man. You don't have to fight everybody's battles. So the rock song comes on, he knows all the words, and she's singing it. And so he's singing it, and she turns to him, and then she's like, "Oh my God, I don't even know what this song is. I am blacker than you." And I was like, "Baby," I said, "You are a white woman. You will always be a white woman. You were born a white woman. And no matter how much Black penis you put inside of your vagina will change the fact that you are a white woman. Don't ever tell a Black man that you are blacker than them." And I turned to him and I said, "Baby, you are Black. Just because you do not listen to rap music does not mean that you are not Black, because you did not grow up in the ghetto, as that white people would assume that makes you Black. Does not mean that you are not Black. We are not a monolith. And if I see you let another white woman tell you that you are not Black enough, I'm going to kill you." Okay? You are. Say it with me. You are a Black man. Okay?
To a middle school. So I went to a middle school and high school, 5th to 12th, at a predominantly white school in Philly, right? But I still dealt with the Black thing, and it wasn't until senior year that we had a real hard racist incident. Like, my best friend at the time got into it with these white boys, Italian, and
The white niggas,
yeah,
Because they don't.
and
because they next.
dark hair.
They next on the
Okay.
list.
Check this out, and then check this out. They got there.
They should.
They got into the argument, and I was at the other end of the hall, and the one popped the door and said, "Hey, F you, you effing," and they called me a hard R. And I said, and he said, "I didn't say that. I'm sorry." And I mean, my response. Like, yeah, that was it.
Hold on.
But now, like, thinking of, I'm like, what? He had to learn that first of all.
I pray. So pray for those type of experiences as a Black person in white spaces. I know what I said, everything up to this point about how the most prejudice I feel comes from Black people when I'm amongst other Black people in white spaces, right? They the ones who are policing me the most, right? Because white people. White bitches know better.
So the problem with me is that oftentimes I get no, don't. I get nerds are my favorite. I get, because I am light skinned, people assume, oh, I don't get in the Karen. I never get in like Karen situations because people are afraid of me, which is weird because I don't do anything to make people afraid of me. I because I am so light skinned, oftentimes I get people assume that I am the safe space or the magical Negro trope, and I am
not your magic.
I am the furthest thing from being safe. I am the first one to be like, that shit was racist. Well, Krista, why would you say that? Because that was racist. What do you mean? Well, why is it? Because this is why it was racist. Don't do that shit again.
That I sit at, because I would love to have a racism happen in front of me, because I would be the first to sit in jail for the black cause. Like, and I know we're not supposed to beat everybody up, but that's just how I was raised.
No, that's again deconstructing colonialism. I'm the last
that humans just need to be smacked.
Sometimes they do,
because that's the only way you're gonna get the I shouldn't have did that. No, you shouldn't have did that. Did you see my visceral reaction? That's how we work, human. Sit your little ass down. Now let me go fix what you did. I'm sorry, what?
Red nerd. That's good.
Oh, they're all red.
So I got a little segment for them.
Nerds.
And it's based around the trauma topic. But it's called finish the line or finish the phrase, whatever. So in true Black trauma.
Is this Black version?
Oh Lord. I got ADHD, so if it's like an acronym, I may need to see it written down.
No, it's gonna be extra.
Okay.
I thought about doing the acronyms, but I said I don't feel like
I'm gonna have to see it.
But so I'm gonna say a phrase. This for any of y'all out there. You might know it. I ain't looking at the chat right now. So if the chat is popping, it's just I don't know. If it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. You'll see that.
Hold on.
So the first phrase I'm gonna give you, and in order to answer the question, you have to raise your hand first. Well, no, you gotta put the picnic finger up. If we gonna do trauma, we're gonna do all the trauma in the face.
We like nerds.
That they got
the church.
Oh, the church finger. Yeah. Or you want to know why when Black folk laugh, why we always laugh quietly and when something real funny and then we run away.
Oh no, I hit people. I'm a hitter when I laugh.
No, but we run away because we're not supposed to congregate. I was about to say conjugate like I was a verb.
We talk about decentralizing whiteness, because I've been working on that. Yeah. I'm a hitter. So I don't run no more, but I hit.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. So here's the first line. Now, like I said, I'm going to answer. Just give me the pick me finger.
Oh,
And
that's what we're
I'll
gonna.
choose you. That's right. We are throwing it in your face so you can see how stupid it is.
Mm.
First, the first line is, I get your behind in this. Go ahead.
Get your behind in this house before the motherfucking street lights come on.
Well, I was
Beat
What
your
you gonna say?
get your
sorry.
behind in this house before I beat your ass.
They both because that's usually what. Okay, what's the
Depending on how hood your mama is. My mama from Southeast DC.
I got one. Made me think of one. Here another one.
Southeast.
Y'all ready? We having this for dinner.
Spaghetti?
No.
Oh.
But what's the rest of the line?
I don't know.
That we having this for dinner.
And if you don't want this for dinner, then you having nothing for dinner, and you can carry your ass upstairs and go to sleep.
So my parents were young,
That's
and so
she was 21. She had me.
so so my parents, my I think my dad may have been 20, and I think my mom was 18, 19. But because they were raised like that, they didn't raise us like that. So I got, even though if we didn't want that, we got they would find something else for us to eat. No, like, seriously. And then when we moved with my mom, it got to the point where my mother, when we would go visit my mother, we would have to go grocery shopping. Like, I'm in the 3rd grade, and we would have to plan meals out for the week. Like, each week we had a separate meal. Oh, bitch. I could run a whole household by the time I was 6 living with my mother. Then when I moved with my dad, it was like, oh, I didn't have to do nothing. I'm gonna punch you in your.
Meanwhile, I can plan a whole season, a whole curriculum. I can put together a company, whatever. But if you ask me what I want to eat twice, crumbling, because I don't know if that's what you want to fucking do. Because I'm all emotional. Because my mother told me that, bitch, we have spaghetti, and if you don't want spaghetti, you gonna go to fucking sleep hungry.
That's the truth.
And it does something to you.
A lot of
it does
people
something
don't
to you.
know.
And when it comes to advocating for yourself, you think just being like, I'm not in the mood for spaghetti, I would like steak tonight, is a travesty, right? And we joke about it in our adult lives, not realizing how that has clammed us up.
I can only gather that from this, like, that one, we were only allowed to get whatever they threw to us at that time. And I'm saying to the enslaved people.
Mm-hmm.
But like, so now we gotta get, like, now we have a choice.
Simpler, instead of cutting me out, it's simpler to be like, baby, we don't have anything else but spaghetti tonight.
But there's the ones that do have something, though. That's the problem.
Because again, we grew up poor, and so poorness brings a fear or a frightfulness in Blackness that shouldn't exist. If my mother just would have told me the fucking circumstances, I would have been okay with it, because I fucked with her real heavy. She was so afraid of what the circumstances meant and what she thought they meant to me. I'm her child.
Yeah.
I care that you poor. I think you're amazing. All that I know is you. Let's lean into that.
That's an excellent point.
I tell the story all the time. When we moved into my childhood home, right? And she was moving from my abusive father. My mother said, oh, gee, I can't invite anybody over here because we ain't got no furniture. All we got is this beanbag. And I said, well, that's something for them to sit on. I was like 5, 6, 7 when I said this to her. And she was like, nah, we can't do that. And she will tell you this story to this day. She said, I looked her in the face and was like, Ma, if they can't sit on our beanbags or our floors and come see us and love us, then they not people who should be around, and I don't want to see them either. And I put my little fingers in my mouth, and I walked my little 5, 6, 7-year-old ass upstairs. And my mother gave me a fucking beating after that. She was like, who told you to say that? I don't understand why you feel that way.
Because
that's
your mom.
Ridiculous.
So your mommy asked me.
My mother, and I was like, bitch, you're ridiculous. Took my ass whooping and went to sleep with my fingers in my mouth. Like,
if your mommy asked me.
My trauma comes from Black people not allowing me to love Black people for what the fuck we are, That's what I mean.
So how old is her?
Nigga, she 21 years older than me. So what? I'm 39. She just turned 60.
60.
Congratulations.
So that's
Big T. Happy 60th.
So I think that's
I love
partially, and not to get to
she was a baby.
Yeah.
She raised babies, and she didn't realize
And
that she wasn't raised herself.
All she knew was what she thought.
I'm saying, like me as a Black woman who now came to that, because I forgive my mother. I love her to this day. Like, I would love to have this sound conversation with her and be good. I love her to this day, and I know what my struggle is with her. I'm not walking around thinking I'm hurt. Me and Brian, we talk about it all the time. I tell y'all that I'm healed. It just looks different because the other side of the equation ain't fucking with me, right? So it looks different for other niggas. It looks and I apologize if I'm taking this over, but like,
no, you need to get it out.
No,
that's the whole point of this.
But and for me, that's what it is, right? Because like, my biggest problem with advancement in the Black community is not us worried about these white people. Even they know. I've been in these rooms for 20 plus years. Even they know they ain't got it. So fuck them, y'all. Like, that's those little side things that they do to us. They do that to each other too. That's what I'm trying to say to y'all. The shit that I've been dealing with, the shit that I've been dealing with, Black people being my
please say that again.
Our real problem. Yo,
they do it to themselves.
No, listen, as loud as I am, fuck a nigga up when I'm quiet in a room, because they didn't expect me to be quiet, because I come through the door loud. I come through the door talking.
Because they want y'all. Let me tell you what they expect. I'm gonna tell you what they expect, because I've heard this flat out. And I ain't gonna say the names of the people because they're in some of the prominent theaters. There are some in the prominent theaters that we work in. And I've heard these people literally say they like it better when Black people come in more meat.
Yes, they do.
They don't like it when we come in ourselves. They like it when
you talk too much. They don't understand what you're talking about.
I'm not gonna say any specific theater's name, but you know I know. And don't try me.
All of them?
Maybe a lot of them.
All of them.
A large majority of them. And I'm new to the scene. And listen, I'm new to the scene, and I don't even need to have the conversations that he had to know what he's talking about. Because like me and you just came to the conclusion of, baby, it's the same ills. We're just coming at it from different avenues. And everybody else is coming from the avenue that I finally have seen. Because remember, the white people let me in. I've been doing policy debate for 20 some odd years, right? Like, I was into politics in 1999.
A degree in that.
Like, that was my shit, bro. Like, science was my shit before it was cool, right? Before Diddy was trying to rock the boat, right? Like, I was out there doing that shit, right?
Not the diddler.
Okay, yes.
Did he do it?
Because the diddler exists, right?
Of course he did. Allegedly.
But
allegedly.
Say it out loud. Because
allegedly
gonna bang my West Baltimore ass in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, record. The baby was like, "Is she serious? It's a heart attack."
That's little Niecy Poo. That's mine.
Little Niecy Poo was like, "They gonna make them like that."
I'm not giving her real name because she underage.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and I would no problem murder you with my bare hands.
And so will I. Don't touch her. Don't touch Mackenzie.
She's a right.
Don't touch Marcus, Zoe, and none of my other nieces and nephews. You will. I ain't the one.
We will find you and torture you.
Okay.
And I'll smile in my mugshot.
And don't mess with nobody. None of people I care about you. That's a bad sign for you.
That's another.
Right. Oh, I got another line for you. Let's see if you know. No, what you about to say?
Nothing.
Oh, it was another line.
I got ADHD. I don't know what I was saying.
Trauma. This one is more just a Black movie line. It's a Black movie line.
Oh Lord. Okay. It depends on the movie.
I'll give you a time period. Let's say 1900s. 1990 something. It's early 90s. I will say, I'm not gonna give you the movie, but there's a prominent actor in there who ventured into he started another field, ventured into acting with another actor that's still currently acting. And the line that he said, "Yo, you crazy?" And he said, "You know what? Had you said that earlier, I was tripping, right? But now I think about it, I am crazy. And guess what? I don't give a fuck."
Would this actor have gone to be say as a ballerina? Okay, as a ballet dancer.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
of
she
course
did.
you're talking about the Tupac Amaru Shakur,
The one,
the one and only. I was like,
That's my no, but that has been. I don't know why that particular one has.
that's from Juice, right?
Yes, it has been hitting in my head. Like it's like so many people are like, Brian, you're crazy for that. Like, you're great, and I'm like, before I would have tripped off for you saying that. Like it's for real, but it's like you right.
You right.
It was crazy. And guess what?
I'm not crazy.
Hey,
I'm not crazy.
the best line of this year. The best line this year that I heard was Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion. She said, "If you hoes are sick of me now, I hope you're on bed rest. I'm about the rest of your year." I said, because I am about to.
2025 ain't even come in yet.
They already sick of me.
Say that.
I don't care about they. That's why people hate me because I don't
She
care.
She'll be like, yeah.
I don't care.
Because this is the thing.
I
This
don't
is what
care.
I want people to understand. You got three professionals here, right? You got three professionals who work in very professional space. We have to because of who's there. However, you have three professionals who are unapologetically black like this and not like this. Okay, no matter what we look like, we black like this. And it's like
It's the same.
if you, well,
Fuck you.
on the inside.
Fuck off you.
You should. I would have been fine.
It wasn't me.
Right.
No.
Because I take pride because there's very little space where I can say I'm the darkest one. And right now,
You are.
I can say that. And I can be so excited to say that. Because, like, now mind you, I don't look good dark skin. I'm gonna just be honest. I've seen it, and it's like this. I look a little ashy. They be like,
problem that I'm having.
I look like a sugar cookie right now.
So cute. It's adorable.
I hate it. I hate it.
I didn't touch it at all.
No, only time she ever looked white. All right, so I'm gonna tell you a funny story. Weed is a terrible drug. She did and she said, and she showed me the picture of Elf.
Tell the story. Tell the story. Okay, so he calls me and he says, "Bitch, I thought you were an elf." I was like, "I am. What do you mean? What? What? You didn't? The night that they took pictures, you wasn't in the pictures. You wasn't in rehearsal." I was like, "What are you talking about? I'm in the cast picture. No, fuck you not, bitch, because I can't find you." And I was like, "Brian, dear, sweetie, he did."
I'm gonna find that picture.
I said, baby, I'm the one in the orange. He was like, "Bitch, I thought you was a woman. I didn't push you."
I didn't because y'all should have seen this thing. Now, don't worry, baby girl. You will see it. Don't you worry. I want to see it because I was shocked and appalled because I was like, "Where is she?"
And I'm like, okay, so on stage, if I do not have on the right makeup or the right wig, and if you put the lights too bright, I am racially ambiguous. Like I was on the stoop outside, and the dudes walking by, and the guy talking about, and his homeboy talking about hola, and I look at my homegirl like, I was like, this nigga think I'm Hispanic, and he's like, oh, he was like, come on, that time. I'm like, so I just ignored him, and then when he said hi, I was like, hey,
What
like,
was Elf last year?
You should have been like,
Elf?
I don't
Shit,
speak
no.
Spanish.
Elf was 2021.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
No, it's you. You go too far now.
I think too far. That's too new.
He doesn't have albums.
Not really.
Jersey Boy. Oh no.
Oh, we're looking for it so y'all can see it.
It's keep going. This is before course one.
I'm gonna put it on y'all thing. We getting there. We almost at the Alfords.
Wait, we almost at the end.
No, at the
No, we almost at the Elf.
Green.
So I'm gonna dye this hair.
Oh, that's
Auburn, Santa.
Margaret is before that. Before that goes. Before that.
Right, because you did like 19 shows back to back that year.
I did before. Oh, it's Calendar. A Wonderful Life.
Wait, again.
SpongeBob.
I'm
Right.
in the corner.
It's before SpongeBob.
It's before something.
It's before SpongeBob.
Damn.
The year before.
White Christmas.
I was when we did SpongeBob, I was Mrs. Puff.
And she was, that thing was singing, okay?
And then I was
SpongeBob music.
uh-huh.
Oh, here we go.
Was it for the kids?
So that the
It was
cast
the
photo is
children's
not
show.
there, but
That don't count. That one makes you look black.
All right, because I don't.
I need the cast photo. Because you have it on
I'm
there.
European about kids too. Like, does my nanny have it?
Yeah, Mandy.
Nanny. Said I'm
Oh,
very
here it goes.
European about children.
Look.
I look.
Child, I don't know.
You know,
Sorry.
You saw it now. Look, she's still looking. She should have saw it right away. Look, see what I'm saying? White woman. She's a real white woman. You can't even. Did you find it finally? It's not me.
All right. So you look at the orange right here.
uh-huh.
Okay. Only because I was getting nervous. For
She's half Vietnamese. She
I don't give a y'all be giving these pale bitches POC.
no,
Armenians, which
no, she's half Vietnamese.
No, she's
don't
only
mean
no.
the
No.
Armenians
No.
No.
Was he racist?
Yeah, but no, because she's a Viet. No, she's got her own set of trauma. Because
Y'all be giving
she is a
passing women POC privilege. And
she now
I'm gonna show you
to the baby so she can be as confused.
White woman. Did you find it yet?
You see Crystal in that picture.
I mean, you found it now. I said it. But... Purple? No.
Too. I thought she was in a purple too, but then I slowed it down.
You don't see it yet?
I slowed it. She not in purple.
I can't see. I tried.
You see?
And if I can't spot you all the way, oh my God.
bro.
Yeah, finally, look. And he
What
was like,
phone is she in?
yeah.
Yes.
Took your-
Now see,
Well,
I didn't.
I think it's the
She's
fact
like-
that we look for
brown skin.
and out of
Trauma.
no, it's a color that's not accustomed to what we would first choose.
Huh? Like orange?
That's the key point of trauma, right?
No, we'll choose orange.
Uh-huh.
We'll choose red, but we want to choose a nice purple or something.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
then.
Like look at a picture.
I get what he's saying.
Like a
Make that up nice.
picture with different
Like
colors.
she look like Ace on Family Feud, but I don't
Damn it.
agree.
She don't.
I'm gonna go with the
But
Ace
me,
of
I was
Family
thinking
Feud,
of
but I don't agree.
I was like, oh, purple. But I'm like,
You
oh,
want to see your mama on the screen?
Yes, she does.
She must be
I want to hear the child's response. Now we done gave it away.
I mean, you can't. I mean, you want to know it's her because we just said it, but
But
if you look at it,
understand our dilemma.
if you look at it, you can't find it. You know it because that's your mama.
She also
Yeah,
should
she
know
went
because she
right
saw
to
the
it.
show.
Yeah,
No,
she went right
that's
to
'cause we
no.
said-
She went right
But-
to her mother because she was
No.
like, "What's wrong with y'all?"
But she didn't go right to it. She was like this.
and I said orange.
Did you even look at the lady in the purple?
I'm saying just that's when she got it. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get the orange."
Yeah, you did say orange.
Janine.
Welcome. That is my third body. She uses the other terms that normal human would.
That's because
That look like your cousin. You know that magenta look like
and
your
no,
cousin.
she's not a teenager.
Nah, she's 10. 10's a good age. 10's a good age.
She is.
10 is a good age.
She is 10.
I support
she can hold
10.
the conversation better than most of y'all adults.
Most of y'all,
But that's neither
I read a study that said y'all slow.
Thank you, baby. I love you. Thank you, baby. That's right. Thank you.
Take the laptop
Because
back.
if she was in there with you,
Okay.
I'm like,
My mother, goddamn it, there's no where's Waldo. I know who
Black.
you are.
It was the throne of us.
But y'all know what's crazy though? I have had that experience where it's like, oh, you're not black enough, or you're not white enough. And then when I heard not white enough, I said, wait a minute.
Well, imagine this. When I was living with my mother and going to school in Lansing, and by the time my youngest sister, who is like 15 years younger than me, when she went, it's very diverse. Like everybody intermingled. But when I was growing up, you had the black people, you had the white people, and you had the Hispanic people. And I looked like a mixture of all of these motherfuckers. So everybody was like, and it's Michigan. So in the winter, I got rosy cheeks and pink nose and, and I'm darker than what I used to be.
Yeah.
I am darker than what I used to be.
She is. Y'all, I've seen it for myself.
I am darker than what I'm a couple of shades darker than what I used to be. And so a couple shades, no lie.
What was you?
Yellow.
Sorry.
So it would be like, the white people knew that I was black. The black people were like, we're like, you're white. And then Hispanic people like, you don't speak Spanish. And so like, I didn't fit in anywhere. But now, like if I go to New York, no, I can't. I learned it for 4 years in high school. But then I got to college and at Morgan, they were like, I would have had to jump to Spanish 3. And I was not ready for Spanish 3, so I took French. And which was difficult because French and Spanish are so much alike. So my professor was always, en français, no, en français. Because I had spoke Spanish for so long, but then you don't use it, you lose it. Last year was in New York with Kelly for an audition. We're walking down 8th Avenue. And so in Midtown, we're walking out because we're in between auditions or whatever. And every time somebody passes me, they're like looking at me, trying to figure out who I am. And so I've been telling Kelly like how it happens. Like it doesn't really happen here, but like when I go out of the country and stuff, people trying to figure out what I am, or if I go into certain restaurants, And she's like, how do you deal with that? She was like, people just stare at you. And I was like, they don't know what I am. And then I just go, I am Black American. I am Black. I've gotten into arguments. I remember undergrad being in, doing Wynton Marsalis's All Rise in the Czech Republic. We're on a break, and I wander off in foreign countries because I'm an introvert. I want to be by myself. And so I'm like, I'm going to KFC. And I go outside, this man stops me and he's like, are you Africana? And I was like, no, offended because I'm like, oh, Black. He was like, well, where are you from? I said, I'm from the United States. He was like, but you look colored. Me at the time, not knowing what colored is in South Africa, was like, excuse me, I am not colored. But that's to understand how it's a distinction, and I can't disrespect it. I'm not gonna call anybody colored because, like in South Africa, and I would be colored.
South
And
Africa.
yeah, in South Africa, I will be colored.
Say what the word means you are colored,
Yeah,
right?
I am in South Africa. Yeah. So, but this man said, "But you look colored." I was like, "I am black." He's like, "But you look colored." I was like, "I'm from Detroit, Michigan, in the United States."
Skin colored.
And but he was like, "But you look South African." I'm like, "I am from Detroit."
For instance, Tyler,
Arguing on the street.
Tyler, the new one.
Swear.
Yeah, how the water girl. So she is genuinely.
I don't have any comment.
She's
You
genuinely
don't have any
South.
comment.
No,
Not
she's
about-
genuinely South African.
Mhm.
However, she is identified as color.
Yes.
Yes.
Colored.
And I have a friend, Robin, my homie, love you. He who's from South Africa, but he's getting his master's or doctorate somewhere, I think in England. He's considered colored. Now, he and her were your complexion, but then I guess as it gets a little darker, I think they just switched to black.
I don't.
Weird.
I don't know what the dynamic is. I try not to talk about that girl because it creates a whole discourse and the diaspora wars that I hate. But I will say this: us arguing over the semantics of what white people have established as names for us is frustrating. But my issue comes into play, especially with that whole whatever award show that was it the Grammys, whatever.
The newest one.
Yeah, with the whole controversy with Haley and Halle and Lil Nas X. My issue is that as a light skinned black woman, when she tried to pass off the award, Chloe and Halle
Bailey.
Yeah, when she tried to pass off the award to her, there was like this whole big controversy.
Oh, the award to Tyler.
Yeah, the award to Tyler. My issue is that me, as a light skinned black woman, could not pull the shit that Tyler did. I would have gotten the same response. She said, "Oh my God, it's too heavy. Can you hold this?" And tried to give it to Halle. And then Lil Nas X kind of stepped in to take it. But like the issue is, but then again, it's because everybody's anti-black, but more importantly, but more specifically, everyone is anti-black American. That is what the new world has been built on.
Facts.
Oppressing black Americans specifically. We are
they don't suppress.
I'm not saying that other people aren't suppressed. I'm not saying that, but they are. But because at the end of the day, we are all black. But people are constantly fed that we are uneducated, that we are lazy, that we kill each other, that we do all of these things, despite the fact that they never talk about the reasons why it appears that way. But if you look in the hood, like you go to Sandtown, Winchester, motherfuckers there are working 3 and 4 jobs.
That is facts. I know
I'm just using the neighborhood where people are like, everybody's bad. Motherfuckers are lazy. Motherfuckers that work 3-4 jobs.
Jump in. And
I don't know.
It's from the African family.
Oh, the family. It was. I think
so. So, in hearing the Tyler situation, yeah, I think that faux pas all the time because I don't realize that the world looks at me as a black woman sometimes, right? So, like sometimes I'm really like, hold my things, do the things for me, like as a girl would.
Yes.
And so, like, I saw that whole controversy with Tyler, and I'm like, I don't think we afford the space that she is a woman of color who's just a woman in her world.
Yes,
and
but I'm sorry, finish your point.
Yeah, so like I sometimes make the same faux pas that people are on Tyler's ass about because I'm not, like I said earlier, caught up in race the same way that everybody else is, because my race issues come from my people. And so I want to solve that part of it, right? So like,
and why is that though?
Because I'm too smart.
No. You're not the only person that said that. You're about to. We just had this town hall at my job, and somebody else said the same thing. They were like, honestly, they were like, the problem that I have. They said it's not with white people. They said it's with us. It is because we do a lot of this. As opposed to
again, but it goes back to my statement that everybody.
We don't.
everybody is anti-black. Everybody is anti-black because that is what how the new world is formed, and to be anti-black Americans specifically. So we are taught to hate ourselves. We are taught, and I mean, even and not just black Americans. If you just look at poor folk across the Americas in general, but we have more in common. Niggas from Centertown have more in common with folks from whatever bumfuck West Virginia town there is than with the average upper middle class person. But we're told that because we're black, we're less than. And so it is getting to understand that we are not a monolith, that not all of our experiences are the same, and that we have more in common with amongst each other with the bottom half of what people see as the bottom half of the world than what's at the top. But if we keep us fighting and nitpicking amongst each other, then we never look at who the real enemy is.
And because I want to add on that, and from where I come in is it's okay for a nigga to accept all of that and be like, I'm gonna do better. And that's my thing. That's where my black fight comes in. I never wanted to just fight that, right? Like I understood that just me existing differently and not like in spite of, just like, all right, nigga, you think I'm dumb? I'm not. I'm gonna go over here and read some books and do what the fuck I gotta do, and I don't feel the need to prove it to you that I'm smart. That's an okay black existence to have. Yeah. And so again, because I can only speak from my own social location, right? I have been championed. Who gives a fuck about white people? They cannot cook. They don't have flavorful food. Like for me, on the bare basis, yo, they don't want to eat their oodles and noodles. Like their struggle meals are not the same as yours, yo. Fuck them.
I ain't gonna lie.
And I've been moving forward from there. And so that's where I stand.
The first time I saw
my white friends could cook. We got different ones.
Chicken whiteness,
they had to go through crash course.
That's true.
They had to go through a crash course, so it's not like they got it easy. But to me, I find that black men and black women are a very unique type of species. Or a very unique type of species. And I'm saying that because, like, let's take the black men. We are loyal to each other. I mean, the black man to black man. But when it comes to black man to black woman, there's so much dysfunction. It is insanity. And it's like, why can't you uphold that? But it's because they were, I don't want to say brainwashed, but they were coerced into thinking that said black woman is here.
That's a whole nother
as opposed to being where she acted. It is another one. That's why I was like, I'm gonna give it a little sprinkle. So
because I don't have the energy or the
because that's gonna be the next episode. It's about black men actually honoring, respecting, cherishing, and listening to black women.
Nobody listens to black women. Nobody.
So like that's
doubly crazy.
That's gonna be next time. And who knows, y'all? You might see the same person on here with us again because
who me?
I mean, yeah, because you'll be in great conversation. Literally, you might have her on that episode with black men. I mean, black men not really appreciating black women because it even goes down to sometimes black sons with their mothers. Like we'll be like. Yeah.
That's because sometimes mamas, not just black mamas in general have this weird non-normal relationship with their son. Where that part. But I think, and this is just my observing of the people that I have dated, that black men specifically, have been sexually assaulted by older men, and we don't talk about that enough. And
older-
that has caused I meant older women. And that has caused a lot of the issues with black men that have with women. Like the guy that I don't know whatever. It's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. Like was telling me like, yeah, I slept with my high school teacher, and I was like, babes, you were assaulted. And he was like, no, I was into it. I was like, you were a child. You were assaulted. She was a predator and should be in prison. You were sexually assaulted. You could not consent because you were a child. And she needs her ass beat. But nah, because I'm a man. I said, if your daughter, who was in high school at the time, and she was sleeping with her teacher, you telling me you wouldn't beat that nigga's ass?
And this is
he was like, well, no, that's different.
Sit with the only man that got her wet was a child.
That's yo, like
why is every man I'm attracted to 5, 6, 7 years younger than me? But I control. So
it's gross. Go to jail expeditiously.
Controlling niggas.
Go to jail.
But I digress.
Go to jail expeditiously.
I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
Go to jail.
So here's so I'm
jail.
I'm gonna let y'all know out there right now. The next episode, and then the next episode,
jail.
The next episode is gonna be
under the jail. Under the jail.
So the next episode is gonna be, the relationship between black men and their mothers, and then the one after, and then their
mother's friends, because it's usually their mother's friends.
My brother D, I'm sorry, but the way that these old women was lusting over you when you was just playing basketball for McDonough or Georgetown, it was gross. It was disgusting.
I was teaching
Crystal. If the shoe was on the other foot and you had old men, the age to be peers of my father, say, yeah, I love it when you reading them debate briefs, girl. I love it when you up there speaking fast and reading those arguments. We would have a problem, right? We could talk about, you know what? Yep. Because the way that them women lusted after my brother.
I used to teach in East Baltimore, and I had a 5th grader. When I first started teaching, I'm not gonna say the school. Had a kid that lived in the neighborhood around Broadway, and so the kid, he was older, had been held back. I think he started school late, so he may have been like 12 or 13 in the 5th grade. There were some issues there. His mother came to the nurse's office to ask where she could get condoms from because the women in the neighborhoods were sleeping with her child. This baby was 12. 12. Because she couldn't stop them from sleeping with her child. And there was nothing that she could do. So she protected him the best way that she knew how. Me, everybody would have had to die. But she protected him. But by this time, once it started, you can't. Once you start, you can't stop.
No, yes.
So she did the best. She did what she could when she could. And so the nurse's office was having protection, but everybody would have had, the whole neighborhood would have had to die. Whole neighborhood, but we don't. Me, everybody would have been going to prison.
Jay Moore's fine right there. Not you, but
it's talked about as much. It's not discussed as much as if a man or as if an older man comes onto a younger.
But it's so prevalent.
Yeah, it's so prevalent.
It's as much.
It exists. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You don't know how many men dated.
You bitches should go to prison. You bitches need to go to prison.
That the only woman who was interested in was the older woman who took advantage of him, and so he don't know handle my affection. Yes, put her under the fucking
Under the
jail.
jail.
And it clashes with what the love
What
of your
girl-
mother.
Mm-hmm.
That, especially if it's a single mother, can show you that love that you need. But then when you get a woman, an older woman who take advantage of your virtue or that younger person, it sort of clashes with what this is what my mother said. What this
And we
is
don't,
what
yeah, and we
this
don't
is what
think,
I need. So it's a battle in the mind.
and
But this is what I'm talking about.
9 times out of 10, that older woman
Come on,
who
DC
is
Spider.
right, okay,
That's
that
him.
older woman was giving that to you is because she's missing the same maternal love. So when we get back to the topic of this conversation, trauma bonding, right? Like we don't realize that a lot of the cycles of abuse that we perpetuate comes from the trauma bonding that we do in our relationship as Blackness, right? Yeah. Like me and Crystal could have very easily sat here and been like, yeah, fuck everybody, because they don't give a fuck about us one way or another, because we have similar ills from different ways. But instead, we like, yo, let me hear the other person's plight and figure out how I cannot be a part of that plight and still deal with my shit. And that's what it is with us in our Blackness. We need to accept the shit that we go through in our individual circumstances, but also understand that as a collective, we all have shit to deal with. So give our best to the community, okay? Because we need each other.
And like the real, and this is the real thing, y'all. Because I know we get into the weary hour, but listen,
She don't sleep.
The real thing is, like I said, the next episode is going to be. The next episode of the trauma series is going to be about males or men and their relationships with their mothers. I'm gonna open it up to other people, but like I said, I can only speak from a Black experience because I'm Black. I'm not white.
People are like, who?
I'm no comment because I say mean things when I.
Never mind. I'm saying other people mean like another man of like that's like me.
Oh, all right. Another man that's like you.
Okay. Maybe a little darker. Because I have a different experience than my brother.
Your brother's fine. Did I say that out loud?
It's his brother. Is his brother straight?
Oh,
all of them.
Absolutely.
Everyone. Yeah. They like me. Just
they think.
Yes, actually. Especially Brandon. What she talking about? Be trouble.
Guess on that note, y'all.
Anyway, so y'all, it's been a great episode. It's been a great episode with trauma. And trauma about it. Yeah,
they do. They do. They all look alike.
Yeah, they taller actually.
Yeah.
Yes. Only one is lighter than me.
Oh, that's my type.
But but yes, if y'all have not figured out that trauma bonding is a real thing in the Black community, like it's like a glue almost. We always do it. All of us do it. Like even if you're one of those uppity Negroes that try to be like you don't do it, and it's like you do, because when you go into those spaces, who you bond with, right? Trauma bonding. We ain't just doing it because we look alike. And then the other thing is, laugh out loud. Because back in the day, we weren't allowed to laugh out loud.
I'm funny, Brian brothers, and just like that.
And so,
if y'all looking,
not everybody come from my brother. Y'all a hot commodity out there, all three of y'all.
Nigga, I come from a basketball family. We shoot our shots. My brother took him to the Final Four. My brother was drafted to the Detroit Pistons.
Hey, what wait, who's your brother drafted?
His name was DeJuan Summers. He was drafted in 09.
09, okay.
Don't say that.
My baby brother. So I'm just saying.
I love Detroit.
Listen, and I love the Pistons because I watched the Malice at the Palace. I'm just saying.
Listen, wasn't that thing crazy?
Insane.
I grew up with the Bad Boys, so that was calm. I grew up with the Bad Boys, so that was calm.
Saying it's just bright, dark skinned brother.
What up, Joe?
You
How you
Well, why
doing?
everybody what y'all? Y'all are not
Nobody know me.
over 36.
Yeah.
Yo, hurt. As long as you 36 and over. Wait, are they 36 and over?
Yes.
Okay.
They
Yes.
are?
Brandon is. Well, no, so is Anthony. They both are. Marquise is not.
How old is Marquis?
Let's see. Now Marquise should be.
Not now. That's a boy.
Let me see.
That's a old nigga shit.
Marquise is 30.
Oh. Psych.
He's a Penn State grad though, so hey. Shout out.
After mamas and their boys, we're gonna talk about cougars because I have a lot of talk about cougars.
Trust me, all lesbian cover because I've had cougars. Plenty. But y'all stay tuned for the next episode. We actually are probably gonna go live on that one because this one was great.
We did toast.
We did
toast, but we can do a final toast.
I'm all out of liquor. I don't know. I got some.
You gonna make it work?
She needs some water.
Okay.
Where's it? Okay. So
What we post?
Cheers to the freaking weekend. I drank to that. Yeah.
So this toast, like I said, next episode, y'all gotta make sure y'all stay tuned. This toast is to, like I said, healing out loud. It's to breaking generational curses. It's to being present in the moment, and it's to not letting anybody from the America of the Caucasus with their Caucasian intent, the tapioca warriors, take anything from you because we are black, beautiful, and we are legendary. Would you like to toast me? Yeah, everyone. Now that I've said that, I want everybody to understand this: that you are great, no matter what color you are, but
Great.
But you are great.
Buddy.
You are amazing. You are full of life. You are full of joy. You are full of love, and you are full of possibilities. Everybody's pregnant with possibilities, and the thing is, you won't get it.
Why that word?
Until you.
Ew.
Everyone is full. Okay, fine. Everyone is full of possibilities. Because I like Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the things I have, right? And it's a plans of good, not evil, okay? Good, not harm. I had to give you respect to that. We was paraphrase. Start preaching. And I will. But I'm saying to you that he knows the plan. That you
The P section.
So
you need to understand that this world is ours and that we should be the lender, not the borrower. And that we built food. We're responsible. But all you need to know is to stay up. You're not gonna, like I like to say at the end. You stay up, stay blessed, and be legendary. Peace. No,
No, he